Let's begin with a brief explanation of the class trial. The objective here is simple. Explain how the murder took place. Using evidence you've gathered during the investigation, you will argue what you believe happened to the victim. Should you all agree on the right answer, you will be free to leave this place. Should you all agree on the wrong answer, well, you'll find out. That's all there is to it. Have fun, everybody.
Somebody, get me out of here.
If this is something we must discuss, I know a good place to start.
Get me out of here, 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 get me out of here! Ah! Somebody get me out of here! What happened to her? Oh, shit! They fried her brain!
Calm down. It's only a shock. She won't suffer any permanent side effects. If I wanted to see the brain dead bigger, I'd just turn on the telly. On that note, please, carry on.
As you were saying, Wolfgang?
Right. The way I see it, the objective of this
By the way, can I get like a seat with this thing? I'm just gonna be an onlooker. It's only fair.
You're seriously not going to contribute?
What am I even supposed to do?
Put your detective hat on, buddy! We're here to solve a mystery!
Yeah, who murdered that dummy chick, right?
Not who murdered her, how they murdered her.
Did that tablet not explain it?
It listed her wounds, yes, but it didn't explain how they were inflicted.
Probably because it's so obvious.
But, Miss Amber, you didn't even read the tablet.
And I don't have to!
Would you look at that? A debate's already underway.
The mystery was never about who killed Kara, but how she died.
Is that true?
Objection! It's obvious what the murder weapon was!
I didn't get a good look at the crime scene, but the body was pretty bloody.
And what what could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun?
Ah, that's right. There was a gun.
You hear that, liar man? She agrees.
The mystery was never about who killed Kara, but how she died.
Is that true?
Objection! It's obvious what the murder weapon was.
I didn't get a good look at the crime scene, but the body was pretty bloody.
And what could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun?
No, that's wrong!
Cassidy, can you stop butting in? You barely investigated the crime scene to begin with.
Whoa, what? I searched that place from top to bottom.
All right, then tell me, how was a fully loaded assault rifle used as the murder weapon?
That's easy. It wasn't. Obviously, the shooter reloaded their gun to full capacity. Any smart shooter could tell you that. Right, Desmond?
Why are you bringing me into this?
Except, the victim suffered multiple stab wounds to the torso. If the gun was fired, not only should the body have had bullet wounds, but there would be shell casings from the fired bullets. We saw neither at the crime scene.
Details. If the gun didn't do that, chicken, what was the actual murder weapon?
I got it. The bloody knife. It's just so blatantly obvious. It was literally right next to the victim's body.
Why so Cam's razor gotta ruin everything?
Interesting. Both the knife and the rifle were present at the crime scene, but only the knife was used.
Kind of weird choosing the inferior weapon.
Nothing beats the sting of a sharpened blade.
If the killer didn't use the rifle, why was it at the crime scene?
Maybe it came from inside the closet.
Don't see why you'd be storing a gun in a janitor's closet.
Man, I don't know. What if it's not even related to the murder?
Of course it's related. It's covered in blood.
Oh no. Everyone's starting to yell.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the knife were next to the victim's body.
Yet they opted for the knife. Odd choice.
I bet that gun didn't even work. These days, it's all about aesthetics over effectiveness.
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken, then the killer would have no reason to bring it with them. And yet, they did.
Watch it be for the aesthetic.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the knife were next to the victim's body.
Yet they opted for the knife. Odd choice.
I bet that gun didn't even work. These days, it's all about aesthetics over effectiveness.
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken, then the...
No, that's wrong!
Stop that thought right there. If we keep assuming the killer had the gun, we'll end up running in circles.
What? You think the killer was unarmed?
No, they were definitely armed. With a knife. The reason they didn't use a gun is probably because they never had it to begin with.
But then, who did?
Easy. The victim.
Whoa, the dummy had the gun?
If it wasn't the killer, it has to be her. She must have brought it to the closet. She was probably carrying it before the murder, but dropped it when the killer attacked her.
Oh, I guess that makes some sense.
Complete sense.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Aren't you overlooking something?
Huh?
The victim was stabbed from the front, meaning she could have seen the killer coming, correct? If so, why didn't she shoot them?
A stealth attack! I bet the killer memorized her AI movements.
That girl must have been killed before she had the chance to defend herself.
That's not technically true. There's evidence of a struggle between the victim and the killer. This is it. We found dry blood under the victim's fingernails, which implies she was clawing at her attacker. Of course, no explanation is definitive without photo proof of the killer, but I'm confident this is what happened.
Why would you resort to scratching when you're carrying a gun?
Did something get in the way of her using it?
Wonder if that killer stole it from her.
She should have seen or heard him coming from the hallway at the very least.
Why do you think she was in the hallway?
That's where the fight happened, right?
I think you're getting ahead of yourself. How can we be sure the fight happened there?
Maybe the fight started in the hallway, and after it ended, her body was dragged into the closet.
If that happened, shouldn't there have been streaks of blood on the floor or in the hallway?
Drag marks? Can't say I saw any.
It was merely a jest. No need to take it so seriously.
Instead of dragging the victim, what if the killer carried her? I don't know why they would want to do that, but it would explain the lack of drag marks.
But then, wouldn't the killer have been covered in...
Blood. Aye. It should have gotten everywhere. Those wounds were brutal. A few inches deep, I reckon. Carrying her would have done nothing to stop the blood flow.
Good point.
She was obviously killed in the closet. That's where the blood was?
Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry for derailing the conversation.
Moving on. That fight. The victim had the gun, but she was overpowered?
If she wanted to, she could have just... you know...
It doesn't make much sense, does it?
That slimy killer pulled a fast one and knocked the gun out of her hand.
By the sounds of it, those two did have a crazy tussle.
But she still carried a gun. So why didn't she shoot?
I bet that girl didn't even see them coming.
Maybe she thought the killer was her friend? I know I wouldn't hurt a friend.
She tried clawing their eyes out.
That slimy killer pulled a fast one and knocked the gun out of her hands.
By the sounds of it, those two did have a crazy tussle.
But she still carried a gun. So why didn't she shoot?
I bet that girl didn't even see them come.
I got it.